Prime Minister Netanyahu has lost his way by allowing his political survival to take the precedence over the best interests of Israel. He has been too willing to tolerate the civilian toll in Gaza. I believe a new election is the only way to allow for a healthy and open decision-making process about the future of Israel.
He made a good speech, and I think he expressed a serious concern, shared not only by him, but by many Americans.
Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, the highest-ranking Jewish leader in U.S. history, with harsh words for Benjamin Netanyahu as Schumer calls for new elections in Israel. I'm joined now by White House National Security Communications Advisor John Kirby. Good to see you here, John. Let's start with Chuck Schumer's speech. President Biden called it a good speech, and yet he has not sided with Chuck Schumer in calling for new leadership in Israel.
Well, because the president understands that that's up to the Israeli people. That's up to the Israeli government that they elect to determine whether and how, if there's going to be new elections, what that would look like.
Well, Senator Schumer also understands that. He's just calling for new elections, and you've seen polling about Israelis that they would like new leadership as well.
Well, again, that's going to be up to them to determine. It's a democratic country, and we have to respect their sovereignty. In the meantime, he is the prime minister of Israel. They are two leaders that have had a long working relationship. They don't agree on everything. We don't agree on everything with respect to what's going on in Gaza. But that's the government that is in place, and that's the government, the war cabinet, that we're going to continue to work with.
The president wants a temporary ceasefire,
yes,
a Palestinian state, a two-state solution, a peace agreement, and has asked Netanyahu not to move into Rafah. He has defied all that. So what more can you do?
Well, they haven't moved into Rafah yet.
They've said they have their war plans.
They have. We've not seen those plans. And as we've said before, Martha, we would not support such an operation unless or until they can accommodate the 1.5 million refugees that are there and preserve their safety and security. We have continued and will continue to press the Israelis to do more to reduce civilian casualties, to do more to get more trucks in, and to again, help us come to closure on this temporary ceasefire so that we can get all those hostages out.
As you mentioned, the Israeli War Cabinet approved its plan for Rafah. You said you haven't seen it. But President Biden at one point said that was a red line for him and then kind of walked that back. He said it's a red line. It's not a red line. What is it?
It's no different
than... If they go in the same way they've been going in other places, if they don't move those refugees, and I don't know where they'd move them.
Well, again, I don't want to get ahead of where we are. They haven't moved into Rafah. I would just reiterate what the president has said many times. We would not support such an operation unless or until they've got a credible, executable plan to take care of the 1.5 million refugees that have been pushed into Rafah because of operations in Khan Yunis to the north and Gaza City even further to the north. Now, the Israeli Defense Forces say that they have such a plan for an evacuation. They talked about humanitarian islands in Gaza. Again, we welcome the opportunity to see that, to see if that's actually executable and doable.
And give us the status on that floating dock and how long you think that might take and how they do it without putting boots on the ground at all, connecting it somehow.
In Pentagonese, this is called JLOTS, Joint Logistics Over the Shore. It's a temporary pier, a floating dock, if you will, that is transported in pieces. The first pieces of it are on the way now. They left Norfolk just a little bit earlier this week. It's going to probably take about 6 to 8 weeks or so for all the pieces to get in place and for it to become operational. We are working with partners in the region to figure out the details of how the material will be secured on and off the floating dock, and of course, how it will be distributed inside Gaza.
And I want to move to Ukraine. House Speaker Mike Johnson says he expects to pass Ukraine aid with support from Democrats as a standalone bill or combined with aid to Israel. Did the president speak directly with Speaker Johnson about this, and how does he feel about that?
Well, he's already spoken to Speaker Johnson now a couple of times.
Specifically about that.
But I don't know of any conversations that the president has had. I know that we have been in touch. The White House has been in touch with Speaker Johnson and his team about this moving forward. Look, time is of the essence, and you were in Ukraine not long ago. They are running out of ammunition in the Donbass, and they are falling back now on second and third lines of defense as the Russians continue to try to push west. They've got to have this support, and we need it now.
Do you worry at all about our own readiness as we give weapons to Ukraine? Sure. Has that been an issue?
Oh, of course. But since the beginning of the war, we've had to, with every package we provided, we've got to make a certification that it's not going to damage our own national security. And as we have given more and depleted our inventories, we have been doing everything we can to work with the defense industry to restock, to replenish. That's what this replenishment authority, why that's so important. So, yes, it's a concern. We haven't reached a point yet where our own national security and our own operational plans have been jeopardized. But it's absolutely something you can't ever take your eye off.
And we've been talking about TikTok a lot this morning, and that bill. They talk about national security. I mean, that's clearly a concern. If this bill doesn't pass in the Senate, what will the president do to assuage those concerns?
Difficult to know exactly where this is going to go. As you rightly said, this is a legislative process. We'll see where it goes in the Senate. We're glad the House took it up, and we urge the Senate to move swiftly on this. I want to stress again, over and over, that this isn't about a ban. We don't want to see a ban on TikTok. We understand there's a lot of people whose economic life...
But it could ultimately become a ban.
It could, but we don't want to see it banned. We do want to see ByteDance no longer in control of that application. We want to see divestiture from this Chinese company because we are concerned, as every American ought to be concerned, about data security and what ByteDance and what the Chinese Communist Party could do with the information that they can glean off of Americans' use of the application.
And I know we're kind of going around the world here, but I do want you to give us an update on the crisis in Haiti.
Yeah, more violence over the weekend so far. Very, very concerning. We do see the political process moving forward. There was a terrific meeting in Jamaica. Secretary Blinken represented the United States where Haitian groups came together and decided on this transitional presidential council to appoint an interim prime minister. It looks like that process is moving forward, so that's a good thing. On the other front, we are continuing to work with the Kenyans about getting this military support mission in place to help the Haitian National Police. There's an awful lot going on there. In the United States, we continue to watch this very, very closely.
Okay, thanks so much for joining us this morning. Always great to see you.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.